Alright, so we have the airframe here, and be careful pulling this green tape off again. It is, particularly at this point, because you can actually pull up the plastic. That makes that strong. If you pull it up, it's not the end of the world. Just reinforce it with some packing tape or something like that. It'll get all strong again. Yeah, see, I got a little bit right there. So it'll pull it from the other side. It doesn't pull that edge. Okay, so that's the end of that. And you will notice the incredible origami job. So here, let me do it again. If I can get far enough away. That this thing is actually taped together in such a way that when you unfold the whole thing, you get the airframe. Is a bunch of parts. And the first thing you're going to have to do is double up on all of these. This is just for shipping, because we can't ship you a 42-inch wingspan airplane efficiently in this, given the shape of this thing. So I'm just going to go and reinforce where all the cuts are. There's already tape sort of establishing the hinge, but I'm just going to redo it. And this turns out to be plenty strong. And do it on all of the seams. And if you get a wrinkle in here, it is not the end of the world. I do this a lot. I'm good at it. But a wrinkle isn't going to make a difference. There. Okay. So we now have basically a recreated airframe, and it's just fine. All of those joints are good enough to keep that thing flying for a long time. All right, so we're going to trim off the excess tape. So that's step one. Next thing is you want to decide what the top and the bottom of this is going to be. If you, one side is pretty clean without any writing so much, and the other side's got all this junk from the fan fold. I don't care. I'll put the clean side up. I think it's just easier, plus distracting, you'll be able to see what I'm doing better. So the side that you do this cut on, the next cut will determine what's up and down. All right. So the next step, I like to use a really long ruler for this, which is why I have this. And I basically just go through from this point here as marked to here, which oddly enough is exactly the width of my masonry level, which is what this is. Because that's when I designed this airplane, this is what I used to decide how big the aileron was going to be, because I just needed to have something that looked like it was about the right size. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting at an angle, so it's about a 30-degree angle, something like that. And you just want to just do a nice, smooth, long cut. This is a great time to sharpen up get a fresh blade, because we've been cutting a lot, and we don't want this to have any ragged edges. So we're just going to do a smooth cut from start to finish. Try to get it all the way through. See if I can get that in the... Okay. And just take these tips, get those, snick them off. Okay, then turn the airframe over briefly, and we are now going to put in the hinge. And what I like to do is just do a couple of short sections to establish this hinge, because there's this bevel. Just make it nice and we want it nice and flush, but don't force it. Just get a little space in there, because there's just sort of undulations. You see there's a little bit of space there with undulations. I'll leave it alone. I'm just going to get it nice and straight in the center. And again, if there's a wrinkle in here, don't worry about it. It's not going to make a difference. Okay, notice I'm not forcing this too much. I'm just going to get it kind of close, and then in it goes. So they're all lined up. I have a hinge, but I'm going to do the whole thing now as a single one. I'm going to go from there. And you can just do it as a bunch of, smaller ones if you want. You don't have to do it as a singleton. But this is how I do it. All right. And we have our Elvon hinge done. I'm going to trim this off from what I did before. Get tape out of the picture. It sticks to everything. Do that. Trim off the excess tape. You do not need to tape the other side. Even in dirty environments, it'll pick up some sand and some dirt, but it adds a lot of weight, and it just stiffens the hinge up. I don't think it helps. Okay, and then in the middle, I'm just going to cut from the center line that we have here, just 1/4 inch on each side. Just kind of eyeball it. It's not a super critical dimension. And cut that bit out. Right there. There we go. So now we have free Elvons, and you can see how it works, right? Which is that that angled cut we did, it allowed us to have an Elvon that'll go up and down. So it's very clean, strong, worked really, really well. Okay, well that's the airframe. That was hard. So now we're going to attach the deck. Well, first we'll do is we'll cut out the prop hole. So the prop hole is, again, sorry it's a little big, the camera's not getting it. I think you guys know. Get the idea though. Okay. I like using a ruler when I cut. It just makes it easier for things to be straight. Less likely to have something cut loose on you. Get a little snaggly toothed in there. You see this already? That's good, so we're done with that. So now we got a prop hole, and we have our deck, and we are going to attach it. So let's get out our piece of coroplast that we had before. This comes in really handy for this stage, where we essentially say, okay, there's our prop hole, and we line those two up. Make sure this all looks nice, copacetic. It does, and we start punching. Sorry, this is hard to do. Put one there. I try to keep these holes pretty close together because I'm going to use a small zip ties on it. And one here. Okay, so I'm just going to put those in to finalize it. So these go all the way through. These are our first ones going through the entire thing, the deck and the airframe. It's a little hard to see. We'll get a better one on the other side. I'm trying to film it, and it's just too awkward. Get the other one through. Just sort of act as a reference point. Keep things flopping around too much. There we go. That all the way through. Come on to the other side. Come on. Where are you? Sorry, I'm making a mess of things. Do this again. Okay. What's happened here is this hole is tightened up again, and I can't find it. me so much trouble. This way instead. Okay, we got one in. This will go better. Open. Yeah. Okay, so that's two of them attached. We now have the orientation, and we'll finish it out and put in 6. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing wrong. So I'm not punching through. If you don't punch through, it won't break the, if you don't have some coroplast underneath it, it won't break through the plastic on the other side, which is extremely annoying. Put one here. Okay. Okay. Starting to look like an airplane. Sometimes the coroplast, seals up again, so you have to do it. It's annoying when you're trying to do things quickly. There we go. On every one of these. Okay. And the final one. Okay, deck's attached.